This egg holds the key to solving your money worries. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. You see, when you get your bank statement, a bill, whatever, you look at that and you say to yourself, if you're worried about money, oh my God, there's not enough money there. I can't pay that. Or whatever it is that you say, either to yourself or out loud, some of which possibly may not be repeatable. Now, a long time ago now, thank goodness a long time ago, I made a discovery, a stupid, simple discovery about money and worrying about money. So let's think for a moment. Let me talk to you about what money is and what it isn't, okay? Because I don't know what comes into your mind when somebody says the word money. But if it's pictures of coins and notes or credit cards or banks or whatever, that isn't what money is. Those are just symbols of money. And symbols of money can be anything. Over the period of history, they've been goat skins and probably beads and tobacco and all kinds of stuff. Anything can be currency. It's just that we've agreed on, and it depends where you live, what kind of, we have pounds and pence here in the UK. And when I was a child, I'm old enough to remember when it was pounds, shillings and pence. So even in my lifetime, the currency that we use in our own country has changed its denomination and the way we divide it up. And now, of course, a lot of money is just not even physical money. It's electronic dots and electronic impulses. So it isn't a physical thing. We represent it as a physical thing. But what it is, in fact, in reality, is just a concept. It's an energy. It's a thought, an idea. So that's kind of interesting. And we know that's sort of true anyway, because the value of things changes. I remember my dad, when I was about 11, bought a house for £1,500. Now, just to give you an idea, many people today earn at least that much in a month. Some people earn it in a week. In those days, that was a few years' income for a working man. And it was mostly working men those days. My mother didn't work. So everything changes. So the concept of money is an idea. Now, of course, if you owe somebody money, if the credit card companies are snapping at your heels and you can't pay them, you can't phone them up and say, well, it's only an idea. Of course, I understand that. But here's the secret that I discovered. Let's go back to my egg, because this is an egg bought from the supermarket, so it'll never be a chicken. But if it was a fertilized egg, it could turn into a chicken, right? So, age-old question, which came first? Now you would say, well, what's that got to do with money? But there is a very good question about that, because here's what I discovered. I used to think that when I looked at my low bank balance or the bills that I didn't know how to pay, that was the cause of my worry. Right? Money and the worry about money. What if that was the other way around? What if my perpetually worrying about money was causing me to not have enough? Too big? Too much of a concept? Well, think about this. Everything's energy, right? And we now know that our thoughts affect reality. Science, even science knows that. But you know it anyway. You don't need to be a scientist to know that. I'm not a scientist. You know that. You know, for example, that if you go out today and you meet strangers in the street or people who when you buy, I don't know, your coffee or your newspaper maybe in a shop, if you smile at that person, say, thank you very much, oh, you did that really nicely, oh, I hope you're having a lovely day. You're going to get a completely different kind of reaction, and you'll have a completely different kind of day if you consistently do that kind of thing than if you're grumpy and miserable or curse at the person or don't make eye contact with them. Now, that's just the energy that you're giving out from the inside. You can consciously change that. Now, I'm not saying they'll give you money, but they'll be much more likely to want to be around you. Now, that's just at a very coarse level, if you like, of energy. We know because we can put EEG, electroencephalograms, on our heads and measure. I've seen it done. I used to work in mental health. I've seen it done. People's brainwave patterns measured, and when they're anxious or worried, the brainwaves change and they go crazy compared to when they're chilled out and relaxed or maybe listening to music. It changes. Now, we know that that's a measure of electrical energy. We can see the results of it. So why would you even think for one moment that it's not affecting everything else? If you put something with the energy that transmits energy on in your home, let's say you put a heater on, the room you're in will get warmer. If you put air conditioning on, it'll get cooler. If you put bread in the toaster and switch it on, the energy changes the raw bread into warm toast, and so on. Energy changes stuff. It is naive in the extreme to think that our thoughts don't have some effect. So what I can tell you is, when I figured out, even just as an experiment, that stopping my worrying about money wouldn't attract more money, because that's absurd, but it would allow the flow of money. It's like, okay, let me say this. You are damming up the flow. Money's already there. There's an unlimited supply of money. It's everywhere. The only thing is, if you can't manifest money, what you can manifest is a limitation. You can manifest a blockage, a damming up. So, when you stop blocking, the flow starts again. Now, I can't prove that to you, but I can encourage you to try it. What have you got to lose? Now, here's what happens when I say this to people, and I'm guessing that this is what you may be yelling back at me. But how do I stop worrying about it? And that is a good question. And the way I did it was I used some specific techniques that I'd learned during my training as an NLP practitioner and psychotherapist. And they work, and they're very fast, and they're very easy. And I've put them in a program called Stop Worrying and Grow Rich, because you can't worry and grow rich at the same time. As I think I've now explained, they're mutually exclusive. So inside of Stop Worrying and Grow Rich, there's not a single word of financial advice in there. It's not about saving money or anything like that. It's about stopping worrying so that money can flow into your life. That's what it's about. And it's based on sound, psychological, tried and tested NLP principles. Now, it's a whole program, there's a book with it, and there's some hypnosis audios with it, which is why you don't even have to do it. You just have to. I would recommend that you read the book so you understand what's going on, what's behind it. But when you listen to the audios, you can just let me take over and do all the work. And if you're in time, on this page, there will be a coupon which will only work for a limited time and a limited number of people. And that will give you a substantial discount off the whole program. So if you'd like that, click the link. It should be below this video. It might be one side of it's on this page somewhere. And if the coupon's still working, you're in. You got it for a much lesser price. So Stop Worrying and Grow Rich. The chicken and the egg. Remember, your worrying is causing the problem to perpetuate. Seriously, it is. that has to be worth a try.